All right, it is March 1st, and we are going to we're going to dive right in all about one of my favorite topics in this business. And to be honest with you, this is one that the reason why, let me go here. The reason why I wanted to start with this one is because Power Hour has been so fun. And I told Eli, my gosh, Power Hour has been so fun. This is like literally the bread and butter. We're doing the work together. We're getting on. There's a community. We're feeling all like in alignment. And I was just feeling so excited. And he said, there is some preliminary work that I think you need to think about before just going crazy on Power Hour. And I was like, okay, tell me about it. And he's like, think about someone who gets to Power Hour, but they're not yet bought in. Like they don't yet understand the vision. They don't yet understand like that their blockers might be in the way of their success. Very first thing I've said every single week on Power Hour is, okay, go ahead and grab a notebook and make a list of 5 people that you want to enroll. Well, to someone who still is living under the predisposition that like that would mean they had to be sleazy or salesy or weird, or that mean they were checking people off a list and they only had value if they bought something. Like that is not what we're doing. But if we don't talk about making a list and the mindset behind making a list, that could happen. And so you guys are like, I feel like people who come to skills training are the people who are at like, oh, I do want to record. I am recording, Mom. I think it's up in the corner. So the people who are coming to, here's my vision for it. The people who come to Power Hour are like at minimum, they just want to make a few $100s a month. Now, obviously there are people who are going to want to go to Royal Crown Diamond that are also going to come to Power Hour, right? So they want to make maybe $100, $200, $300 a month by the end of 2020. That is my goal for Power Hour, that they could plug in for the 1 hour a week and make a little bit of their grocery bill, right? But then people who come to skills training, this is where we're going to go a little bit deeper into the why behind what we're doing on Power Hour, because you're the ones that are going to be inviting people to Power Hour. And I want you to know that to have a really effective hour at Power Hour, we want to be in position where the mindset is clear, where people are in like ready to go with the mindset, with the belief. And so that's kind of the vision for this part of the strategy. Is we've got Power Hour, which is doing the work. We've got skills training, which is understanding the work and kind of having the skills. And then, okay, amazing. Thank you, Shelby. You can tell I'm feeling a little bit like, hopefully I'm coming across here. And then we've got the huddle call, which the goal is personal development. So I was talking to my friend, Kaylee, and I'm loving seeing her get all set up before she dives in. And she's one of the best people that I know to talk about this topic because she's extremely organized. And the thing that I love about her is she is not only organized, but she's a 7. And so as a 7 on the Enneagram, she has understood about herself that she could be all over the place if she didn't force herself into organization. But she is really great. Okay, so I'm going to give 5 phases real quick of where you might be. And I want you to think about where you might be on the list, on making a list, making a prospects list, making a friends who still need oils list, where you might be, and plot yourself. Okay, so phase number 1 is, I do not want to put my friends and family on a list because that makes me feel sleazy. I'll just keep it in my head. That's phase number 1. Phase number 2 is, okay, I was told I was supposed to make a list of people, so I just thought of 20 or so, and I have it on some little dinky notebook on the side of my computer. That's just where, just kind of like, it's there. I got one, but it's just not really sacred. Phase number 3 is, okay, I've invested the time. I've heard that I'm supposed to have as many people as I can. So I made a big list, but now I don't really do anything with it. It's just kind of there. Phase 4 is, I engage with that list. They know what I do. I am passionately showing up in those relationships, adding value, contributing. I'm opening conversations. I'm wishing them a happy birthday. I'm invested. They are my people. I am their people. There's that connection. But I'm not expanding my list. I'm nervous to expand it. I'm nervous to make it bigger than it is. And then phase number 5 is, I'm growing my list. I'm expanding my list. I'm engaging my list. And it's this ever flowing abundance of like people I can talk to and engagement I can have. That is where I hope all of us can be by the end of this call, where we feel confident, like, oh my gosh, I've got this list. Maybe it's a document, maybe it's written. Kaylee will probably go into all of that, but that we feel like it's just this ever expanding bounty of people to engage with and talk to, people that we love and want to hang out with. So that's my goal. So with that, I'm going to toss it over to Kaylee, and I called her Kaylee Dye. Her name is Kaylee Still. She got married, and she's going to walk us through what she does, and it's awesome. Oh, there she is. Here we go. I was having trouble finding you. Let's see here.
Myself.
There we go.
This might help. Okay, yay! Here I am.
About that, girl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kaylee, and I am one of the silver leaders here for OQ Brand Partners, and I'm super excited to be talking with you guys tonight because this is something I'm actually like semi-passionate about, I guess I would say. So when I first started my Young Living business, I was actually coming off of another network marketing company. And they had us make a list. That was like my first real experience. I actually already had bought a starter kit before that company and was like using oils. I just didn't get the whole business side. And so I came out of that company just like very repelled by like them and the way that they taught their people and just all of that. And so in that, I was like, I don't want to do anything that they, said to do because that just feels icky to me. And so when I first started my Young Living business, I was like, I'm not going to make a list because that just does not feel good to me. Well, then I was talking to like tons of people and educating tons of people and like inviting people to things and doing all the things. And I had multiple people enroll with someone else because I didn't actually follow up with them the way that I should have been. And a couple other things happened. And it was just like this, I felt like it like bit me in the butt a little bit. And I was like, okay, so like I need to have some organization here. What am I going to do? So for me, this business for me is all about intentional friendships, like building an intentional relationship. And so I feel a responsibility to take care of my people well, right? And if I want to do that, I need to be in organization. So I have my notes here, so I make sure I cover all the topics, like the points I want to cover. So I wanted to pursue these intentional friendships. And in doing so, I've decided, you know what, I'm going to make a list because this is going to help me be organized. And so in doing so, I also set up some rules for myself about who goes on my list because I wanted to stay very authentic in, I'm pursuing this relationship. So one of the main rules is that I only put people on my list that I genuinely want to pursue a friendship with. I genuinely want to have a friendship with this person. Like I want to contribute to their life. I want them to contribute to my life. If they get oils, amazing. If they don't, still amazing because I'm still getting that friendship benefit, which is what I'm really after. So seeking after people that way feels very authentic and genuine to me. And then I'm taking care of them really well because I have them on my list and it's clarifying, like it's clarity in that, right? So yeah, so that's the main rule is like you only put people on your list that you actually want to be friends with. So in doing that, I had to actually take a lot of people off that original list that I had because it was like, maybe they would be interested, but they're not really my people. And I'm not like, there's some people that are just like, yes, that is the type of person that I want to be friends with. I want to, be hearing about their life and knowing about their life, and I want them to know about mine. And then there's people that you're like, oh, she's kind of hard for me. That's okay. There's enough of your people in the world for you to be Royal Crown Diamond easy. Okay. And so then another rule now is that because actually I got this clarity from Bethany, like in who we're like, we should all have a like general person that we are wanting to be friends with, right? So like making you could write this down. I have this written down too. Like I want to be friends with people who are high integrity, who bring good energy, who, the list goes on, right? You establish who your people are and the character qualities they have. And then you pursue those people in friendship. And we have the list to keep us organized and make sure that no one slips through the cracks and that your work, the work that you're doing is harvested by you, right? Okay, so the next part, let's see, what did I say next? Okay. Oh yeah, I do want to make this point. So there's a difference between not wanting to talk to someone because it pushes you outside of your comfort zone to talk to that person versus not wanting to talk to someone because you just really don't want to be friends with them. Right? So find that clarity like when you're either if you haven't made a list yet and you're thinking about who you want to put on, or if you're going through your current list and deciding like who you want to keep and who you want to let go of, think, you know, like, do I not want to talk to this person because it's pushing me outside of my comfort zone, or are they just not my people and that's okay? So that's a really important distinction for me as well. And so, yeah, I encourage you to put all the people on your list that you love, that you know that they're your people, like you already know them, you already love them, put them on your list and start this intentional friendship with them. And then I also encourage you to seek out people that you're like, she seems like my kind of person. I would like to pursue a relationship with her. She goes on the list too. So that is who goes on the list. Okay, so then where to put your list. Okay, I've tried this so many ways at this point, and there's a couple ways that I found that work really well for me. So one of the ways is so I like to put all of my people in a Google Sheet, which is essentially an Excel sheet, just the Google version. And I love the Google version because I can use it on my phone, I can use it on my iPad, I can use it on my computer. So that works really well for me. And so the other thing that I used to do is print it out, right? So I would print it out every month and then highlight people as I talk to them. And that works really well too and is really simple. The only thing is that like you have to print it out either at the end of, the end of the month before the beginning of the month or right at the beginning of the month, or it's going to kind of stall you. So one of the things that what I'm currently doing is I have my Google Excel sheet on my iPad and I have everybody's names over here. And then I have different columns. So it says like February talk to, March talk to, April talk to, June talk to, July talk to. And so then I'm just putting an X in that column next to their name once I've talked to them that month. And that's working really well for me right now, just to keep, and it works really well when we're on Power Hour and you need to pull up your list and you need to just like look and talk to them, all of that. So that has been really helpful for me. Sorry, low battery mode, but we got a charger, so we are prepared. Love it. Okay. So yes, those are kind of the two ways that have really worked well for me is initially, number one, have it all in a Google Sheet because then you can edit, delete, when you enroll people, you take them off, all that good stuff. And then if you're like, I really need to see it, I need to see it on paper, then the printing off and the highlighting works really well too. Okay, so then how do I next I want to kind of talk about like engaging the list, right? So what I love is that this business is such a good example. It's kind of like farming, right? So we plant the seeds and then we sow and we water and we sow and we water and we sow and we water. And then eventually we harvest. What we need to get really comfortable with is that sowing, watering period actually being longer than what we'd like it to be, right? So yes, you're going to have the rando people who are just like, heck yes, one class, I'm signing up. But that is generally not everyone. The average person I'm a marketing director at a mortgage company, and the average person has to see something 8 to 16 times in order to actually be like, yes, I want that. So we're sowing, watering, like 8 to 16 times, y'all, before, we can expect to see a harvest. If you have not followed up with someone 16 times, you should not be sitting there wondering why have I not enrolled this person? The first question, have I followed up with them 16 times? Probably not. So I need to keep doing it, right? So just getting really comfortable with sowing and reaping, and being sowing and watering and being passionate about that. Like getting in that vibe where it's like, yes, I planted that seed. I have it on my list that I talk to them. And now I also have like a notes section if I want to like make notes on a person. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more later because, well, actually, we're kind of just going to go into it. My thing with engaging people is trying to figure out their specific pain point, their specific need, which we can only really get from talking to them, right? So what that looks like is, for me, when I'm like engaging with this list, is most of the time I'm like looking at who I haven't talked to, and I'm thinking either like, okay, what's something that I could contribute to this person's life or something like that. Or I'm just like reaching out and being like, hey, love, or hey, their name. I was just thinking about you today and wondering how you're doing. Would love to catch up sometime. No rush getting back to me. Hope you're having a great day. Something like that. That's just like super casual starting the conversation. I love setting up FaceTime dates. Something I want to just like put out there is that you actually don't need that many people to be successful in this business. If you have 100 people ordering $100 a month, you are most likely silver. Okay. So like you don't actually need that many people. So when we can like kind of rail ourselves in a little bit and focus on people like having like a true intentional relationship friendship with someone and getting to know what's going on in their lives, FaceTime dates are like one of my favorite things ever. I have consistently enrolled 2 people a month my entire business, and I hit silver on my 3-year anniversary. So like it totally can be done, that you don't have to be an insane enroller to actually like be able to foster these great relationships and grow your business. So yeah, like a lot of engaging for me just looks like reaching out, connecting, hearing what's going on in their life. That's the other thing I love about FaceTime dates. You can hear like what's going on in someone's life, like the ins and outs in an hour. You know their pain points. I take notes every single FaceTime date I do. I pull up a Word doc on my computer or my iPad, and I take notes about what's going on in my friends' lives. Not to be creepy, but because I want to remember what's going on in their life and I want to follow up with them about it later. So like if they tell me, oh, I'm going to the doctor this day, or oh, I am going on this trip, or oh, I'm doing whatever, I am following up with them after the fact and saying like, oh, I remembered that you went on that trip, girl. I would love to hear about it. Or how was it? Or whatever. Like that's amazing. And I'm really easily able to figure out their pain points and then say, I want to send them some happy mail. I know exactly what to send them. So the next thing I want to talk about really quick is inviting. So what does that look like? So we've got our list, right? And ideally I'm talking to at least, you got to decide how many people do I want to enroll per month. And then you want to talk to probably 10 times that amount of people in a month, like most definitely. So like if you're saying I want to enroll 2 people a month, you want to talk to like at least 20 people a month, and like have good conversations that are super life-giving for them and you, because once again, we only are talking to people that we actually want to be friends with and we actually love anyway, or think we could love, whatever. So what does this inviting look like? For me, once I've figured out their pain point, I will either, send them some information on it, send them a class on it, find information and send it to them, or send them happy mail, something along those lines. I've found their pain point and I'm inviting them to something that's specific for them. And that has worked for me like super, super well. So, there are occasional times where like, we're having this specific group or we're having this class, and it's like a general thing that there are people out there who are just like generally interested in learning more about oils and natural living. And I get a lot of people wondering about like, I'm super passionate about like non-toxic living. And so I get a lot of people asking questions about that and just wanting to like know more general information on that. So if I feel like we have a lot of people that are wanting that, we will create something to then invite them to, if that makes sense. But I've talked to all my people, so I know what their pain points are. I know what's going on. And so then we're creating something that's going to help and we can invite them to. So, and something I learned from Bethany that I think is really great is like always setting up the next encounter. So like someone's coming to this class and they don't get something, like, hey, let's have a FaceTime date. Like setting up something that's going to continue them on the cycle of watering and sowing and watering and sowing until you get to the harvest, right? So let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Yeah, I mean, my goal is, I have a couple things really quick. My goal is to always help people become their own health advocates. Like that is my goal. I want to help you become your own health advocate, but in order to do that, I have to actually talk to them. So there's that. And then one thing that has really helped me in reaching out to people is to change my mindset to the fact that even if you only know like a tiny bit about oils and a tiny bit about non-toxic living or whatever your thing is, like you still know more than most people. And so shifting your mindset that I don't need other people need me, because I have become a resource. I have become a person that has something to contribute, something of value to give. And so I don't need other people, they need me. So as I'm pursuing these relationships with people, I feel super authentic and like genuine and like so great about it. And like, that's what I want to be doing. I want to be pursuing these authentic, genuine relationships. Like, I believe that's what we were put on this planet to do, is have these like great relationships with people. So getting to do that through this business and create an income through it, like, what the heck? That's amazing. So anyway, Beth, I don't know if I have much else. Do we want to do questions, or did you have something else to say?
You know, I think questions would be awesome. I was thinking breakout rooms, but I'm like, I think there's probably enough questions. And if anyone has any question for Kaylee, you can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. I'll just say that was amazing. Amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yay, Coach Trace.
Yeah. Yes, I loved your presentation. So I had a question. Should I be making 2 lists? Because I have a lot of people that I know that need help, like need these products from Young Living, but I don't necessarily want to be like their BFF.
Yeah, so you could kind of decide how you want to go about that. In my like head and mindset, there's enough people that are my people that I don't really like. Someone else might be their person. Now, if this is like a family member who's like having severe, like I have had that conversation where it's like, look, I love you and I want you to see some change and growth and positive in your life. Like, will you please try this? Like, that's different. Like, if it's a close friend, if it's some random negative person on Facebook that you're like, oh, I know she needs oils, but like, she's not my person. Not worth it, in my opinion. I saw somebody may have just put something in the chat.
Okay, and I saw Shelby raised her hand, so I added her. Shelby, yay, there you are.
Yeah. Hey, I missed it. Can you tell us again the columns that you have in your prospects list?
Yes. So I have their name, and then I do like notes. So just like any notes or whatever. And then what I'm currently doing with my iPad is just like, I'm kind of doing like 5 to 6 month chunks where I'll have like, so right now I have February, March, April, May, June, July, and then I'm just putting an X by their name when I've talked to them that month.
Mm-hmm. Are you FaceTiming each one of the people on your list, or is it just like a multitude?
It depends on the person. Really, for me, it's totally just like emotional intelligence guiding you there, where it's just like, is this person... most people, yeah, I'm super down to FaceTime and want to FaceTime them. Other people, I'm really engaging with them on social media and that's kind of the difference between the people I already love and know. I'm trying to FaceTime them versus the people I'm trying to create relationship with. I'm like replying to their stories all the time, literally all the time, replying to their stories, commenting on their posts, liking their posts. I do a lot of my engaging with people on social media these days, just because the feedback that I've heard from people in the marketing world is that people like social media because they can re-engage with you when they feel like it. Where like if I'm texting all of them, it can kind of sometimes feel like, oh, like I have to get back to this text message. Where if it's on social media, number one, I'm totally fine with like DMing them at 9 p.m. if it's on social media. And number two, they can just get back to it whenever they want to and feel like it. So yeah, that's
Cool.
kind of the division that I have there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kaylee, you have a question in the chat. It's from Becky, and she says, I am a 7 and have ADHD, and too many different lists or compartments on a piece of paper overwhelm me, and I can't follow it. I do well with bullet pointed lists, but feel so scattered all the time. Advice for the extra scattered person?
So, I mean, honestly, my list is like the most simple thing ever, like I just shared. Because of that, I can get super just distracted very easily. So having their name, having if I've talked to them, like I have at least 100, 120 people on my list. And so if I can talk to each of them once a month, and then those people that I'm engaging with on social, they pop up on my stories like at the beginning anyway. So I'm engaging with them more than once a month. But like in general, if I'm touching everybody once a month, I'm super happy with that. And so having it where it's just their name and then maybe some notes and then your months, you know, do March, April, June or whatever. And then if you've talked to them or not, like to me, that's super simple. You may have to figure out a different way that works for you, but for me, that's what works. And honestly, like taking the time to highlight at first, like print it out and highlight it was really good for me, because then I could easily see who I talked to and who I didn't talk to. And it also gave me a lot of clarity. Like, see, there's a couple names I didn't talk to, and I actually ended up crossing this person off my list because I was like, actually, I don't want to talk to this person. And if I don't want to talk to them, they're not going to be on the list anymore, because they're not my people, not because I'm going out of my comfort zone. Yeah. Did that help at all?
I know Becky's feeling kind of sick, so I think it was a great, it was a great answer.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
cool. Victoria.
Okay, so my question is, put my hand down. Anyways, on your list, did you just start with people that you kind of thought of, or did you start with your like downloading your friends list?
I definitely like just started with people that came to me because those were kind of like most of those people are the people I wanted to engage with first, right? But
Sure.
honestly, I also just like went down my Facebook friends list and added people to it, went through who I was talking to on Instagram, added those people to it. And that's kind of how I did it, because I was coming off of like, and I had a previous list, right?
Yeah.
So I took that, got rid of a ton of people, and then looked through. And, you know, for me, I'm never going to run out of people, because if I feel like I don't have someone to talk to, I'll just add 5 people on Instagram. So, you know, that's just.
For sure. I was just curious because I know that that's suggested like a lot, and you mentioned that you were using Google Docs, and that's what I have since I don't have Office. So I was curious if you'd been able to download that properly, since that's something that I'm stuck on. But
yeah, I haven't just
figure that out
downloaded my Facebook list, because there's like thousands of people on there, and a lot of them, honestly, I need to go through that, because a lot of them I probably don't even want to be friends with on there anymore. But
that's where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was having
the
like, little bit of a hang up too. So that's a lot of people to filter through.
Yeah, it really
right,
is.
great,
and
thank you.
honestly, like from an algorithm standpoint, like most of my like day job is in social media. And so from an algorithm standpoint, like it would be better for you to have less people that you're friends with that are more engaged, versus having all of these friends that you actually don't want to be friends with, so you're not really engaging with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
That's a great question. And one thing that I was going to highlight, Kaylee, about you that I think is so good too, is like you with your previous company, you were amazing at selling product and you sold so much product and you did it through growing. You taught me, I mean, you gave me the foundation of Instagram that I know. You taught me everything, like the beginning of when I was like, I have no idea. And I was looking at you, you're like, oh my, I'm like, oh my gosh, you have 10,000, 10,000 followers. But the way that you've grown your business has not been, I mean, yeah, you use Instagram, but it's not the bread and butter. And I appreciate that you know how to do both worlds.
Yeah, it's not anymore because, and I still like, I'm still, talking on social media about it. I'm still doing all my stuff on social media. But what I've realized is that, my previous company, I was equivalently silver, and they did a lot of cold messaging, and that was not good with me. And so moving away from that, it's like, okay, I want to actually like connect with people and have a relationship with someone and like be intentional with people, not just like message 500 people and get 20 sales out of it. Like that just doesn't jive with me. And it also doesn't work for like long-term growth. Like when we're talking residual income, we're talking people who are ordering every single month. If we haven't found, like, I got a starter kit and didn't like, I went inactive. I literally went inactive, you guys, because I didn't know how oils worked for me. They smelled nice. I diffused them, but they didn't do anything like life changing for me, just diffusing them, because I didn't know how to use them. Literally didn't know how to use them. So like when you find how oils work for that person, or how non-toxic living, literally, I used to have PCOS. I don't have PCOS anymore because of non-toxic living and oils. So like that is life changing. That is people who are going to order every single month. That is residual income. Not let me message all of these people, they buy a starter kit and I never talk to them again because I don't actually have a relationship with them, and we can't be like everybody's encyclopedia. So like we need to teach them how to use third-party resources. But that initial connection and growth and like the first 3 months of their, journey is like so important. And so, yeah, all of that.
Hey, I have a question too. So I just hearing everyone's like Instagram followers is so intimidating. So I have been for years and years, like wasn't on social media and have like was really private on social media and only recently made my accounts public and like trying to like reconnect with people. But then I found myself finding people and I'm like, I'm not friends with them for a reason, but I do want to expand it and make sure they're genuine. Yeah. So it's like how I'm just like struggling with like how to do that, especially right now, because so many like real life things are not happening, normally.
Totally.
So like I do like a nature school. So I feel like once that starts regular, I can make more connections there. But right now I just feel so stuck with like branching out more.
Totally. So one thing that's given me a lot of help and clarity on this is seeing Facebook and Instagram differently. Okay. So Facebook is where all the people you know in real life are. Now, if you don't actually want to be friends with them, they're not like, get rid of them as a friend on Facebook. Because
I'm actually not friends with anyone.
Media, what?
So I have weird social media rules. I'm on Facebook, but like only for like informational groups. I actually don't have any Facebook friends. And that's
okay.
I guess.
But like as a general rule for social media, like seeing Facebook as these are where all the people that I know in real life are, like that's how I'm connecting with these people. Like I have guy friends on Facebook, like all of that. On Instagram, I am targeting my specific person. So I actually don't follow, I think I follow like 5 guys on Instagram because they're like my best friends, including my husband. But other than that, like I don't, because I'm not targeting guys. I'm targeting women who are Christians, who are either about to get married or are married. That is my person. That's who I'm targeting on Instagram. So having that division on like, okay, like, and that changes kind of how I post a little bit too, right? Because I'm posting like my message. I'm posting my message on both. But I do change my wording because it's like these people I know super well, like, or I know them in real life. Instagram is like, I'm growing these relationships. So what I would encourage you to do is not add people that you may know, but you don't like on Instagram. I would encourage you to find hashtags that people are using that are like you. Find other accounts that are like you. Look up some of your hobbies. Like, say you like, horseback riding. You can look up horseback riding hashtag. Find some people that look like your people that you want to engage with. Reply to their stories with a question. Follow them and start that. See if they're down to start that relationship, and then you add them to your list, and you are growing that intentional relationship with them. So it's more about finding your people on Instagram and not necessarily following people that you may know, but they're not your people. So figuring out, number one is to figure out, who am I targeting? Who is my person? With that clarity, then you can go out and find those people. I have some like different things I'm interested in. So like, I really like home decor. I really like football. My husband played football in college. So like, we love football. I'm super invested in like biblical literacy and like understanding the Bible. So like, I'm on Instagram finding people who like those things because we have something to connect on other than oils. One of my rock star gals, we literally connected on Instagram about college football and she's enrolled like 12 people. So, it's just like finding your people on Instagram. And then my Facebook, I kind of see as like all the people I know in real life.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kaylee, this has been amazing. Literally, I'm just so happy that you took tonight, and thank you so much for like giving all of us you. That was amazing.
Yes, of course. Thank you for inviting me. It's always great to share.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to go off camera, and I'm going to leave the Zoom open because Danette is going to be here in just about 8 minutes. And yeah, I'm so excited. She is if you didn't see, she is a marine biologist. She is so smart and she's so generous. I'm just so excited to have her. So go refresh yourself if you need to. Go potty, grab a drink, grab a charger if you need it, and we'll see you back here in about 7 minutes.